I see procurement being central in helping deliver social value into our communities. We can be with that bridge between the business sector and the charitable sector. We can speak the language of business, but we understand what the charities are trying to achieve, because their aims are to delivery of our aims.
In January of this year, the serious violence duty became live, which now puts into law that public partners work in that whole system way to problem solve, tackling and preventing violence in communities. What that looks like for them is that local system, those local system leaders who are now subject to that serious violence duty, must produce a strategic needs assessment which shows, violence, where it's occurring, the nature and the prevalence of violence within that local area, and also how those public partners in particular are going to work together in partnership to address what is a common and shared costly issue.
The Violence Reduction Unit, which sits under my office, is about pulling together all of those resources from across Thames Valley. So it's about working in partnership with other public bodies, the fire service, local councils, the NHS. All of those organisations that are out there have a statutory duty to reduce serious violence, and we're able to pull that together with the police often taking a lead on the obvious crime fighting issues, because tackling violence in our society is more than just about arresting and locking people up, important though that is. It's about tackling some of the long-term trends that sadly we see around perhaps the culture of knife carrying amongst some young men.
I dabble into everything that is happening in Thames Valley, even though my role is quite specific. So I have a strong influence on the local policing offer, what's happening in crime and criminal justice, and actually working with all of the partners, community scrutiny groups and advisory groups and businesses to make sure that we're building our trust and confidence offer together in partnership rather than the police working in isolation.
Yes, we're a public body, and getting best value for public spending really matters. But actually, this is about the mission of cutting crime, and everybody involved with policing, all the way from our police officers, our police staff, our suppliers and our communities. Everybody has a role to play in that bigger picture and that bigger mission of cutting crime, keeping people safe, and making sure we live in a safe and prosperous community.
I see my team's role as being fundamental in helping suppliers support social value across the Thames Valley, in support of government initiatives to try and ensure that when contracts are awarded, they're awarded in a way that actually helps society.
It's about, are we getting the best use out of our resources? Are we making the best use of taxpayers' money? Can we do things in a different way? We aren't the solution to everything.
We're making some good progress, but I think there is a lot more to do across the public sector to pull procurement together, to make it really central to the way in which we collaborate.
We should be looking to build partnerships between suppliers and our communities, and social value is the way to do that.
And as we're working together collectively to deliver services for the public, we ought to be looking jointly at how we procure those.
For an investment to be made by any supplier, they'll want to make an investment decision like any other business decision. So normally they'll be looking at return on investment. For this, we're looking for a return on social investment. So what we're trying to get to is the fact is that suppliers, when they invest in a programme through the plug-in model, is that they'll see is that there are outcomes that are measured and independently validated, so that they can be assured is that every pound they spend on a social value intervention will actually have an outcome that helps the communities. One of the key principles of policing is the reduction of crime, and the absence of crime is a success factor. So for us, is that any investment that helps reduce crime within our communities and the fear of crime within our communities has got to have a major impact on both the policing service but also the communities themselves, obviously. And so we're very, very keen through these programmes to ensure that the suppliers are actually supporting programmes that will have those outcomes.
Businesses do things well because they have to make money out of it, and they have to do things in a way that makes them sustainable. And actually sometimes policing doesn't have to do that. The public have only got one choice: they can phone us. So bringing in businesses, bringing in charities and people that hone their skills to do this well helps give us the insight we need and the capability to do things in a better way and think differently.
We've got some fantastic suppliers who recognise the values and what we're trying to achieve in Thames Valley. And I don't doubt for a second is that the other public sector bodies across the region are much the same. They've got some great suppliers, and they'll understand the impact that we can have by positive social value interventions. As such is that we'd encourage all these other public bodies to take a long, hard look at this model, because it is that if we can all bring our collective spend, is we can have a strategic approach and an almost public health approach to resolving these issues in communities.